Welcome to the Silhouettes of Success podcast with your host, successful entrepreneur, broker, and business mentor, Amber Weitzer. Because success comes in all shapes, sizes, and styles, the Silhouettes of Success podcast is shining the light on industrious women with a collection of curated conversations of intentional inspiration designed to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, feed your soul, and gift you with actionable insights directly from inspirational, everyday women who've shown tenacity, grit, and grace, having taken on the challenges in their lives and business and won. Remarkable, down-to-earth, and relatable, Amber and her guests will share with you uplifting and extraordinary real-life success stories, motivational ideas that just might help spark something within you. With the deepest desire to serve you, help you grow so you can begin to shine the light that will illuminate your very own silhouette of success. So, let's get to it.
Hello, and welcome to the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success. Our VIP feature guest today is all in for supporting and empowering women by bringing out their inner confidence and beauty through hair and makeup and sexuality. She has over 17 years of experience as a professional hair and makeup artist, creating her signature sexy glam on-screen looks for many celebrities, red carpet, photo shoots, weddings, or just a great selfie. In addition, she is certified in multiple sexuality-driven courses and has now combined that with her skill set as hair and makeup artist to offer female empowerment coaching. Yes! I almost think we needed to have a musical intro with, the smoke and slow-mo walking through for her. But without further delay, please help me welcome Teresa Cliff, the Lone Star Stylist. Hello, Teresa.
Hi, Amber. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. It's so exciting to visit with you as you share your Silhouette of Success story. So once again, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. So let's just dive in. And to help illustrate the early shaping of your Silhouette of Success, would you like to share with our audience a little bit about your background?
Sure. My background started in cosmetology, hair and makeup. I went to school here in Texas and then got a job right away in Beverly Hills and moved out to Los Angeles. And I was out there for a good 14 years and then came back to Texas and kind of started really focusing on the sexuality driven courses and stuff like that and kind of sharing that with my clients. And so, now I have a little combination of hair, makeup, sexuality, lingerie, kind of bringing everything female empowering to the table.
Love it. And yes, we did not include that in your intro with your bio. So I wasn't sure if you were going to bring that up, but let's talk about that a little bit because I want to make sure that we fit that in. And that's really, I think, how I came across and started, following you and seeing all the great things you were doing because tell us a little bit about your lingerie line, because is that fairly recent?
It is fairly recent. I believe I started right around January, and it was just kind of talking to my clients, and I had my suite next to like Victoria's Secret in the town square, and it was just kind of like how overpriced it is and how it really doesn't fit all of the sizes that women are. The majority of women are a size 14 and Victoria's Secret really goes up to a 12. So you can't really even get lingerie anywhere except online. And even that, it's like a lot of stuff from China. And so just kind of after talking to them, I ended up sourcing all of the stuff that I get for the lingerie line is sourced from women. So it's all women designers. Some stuff is custom. And then, so it's like sizes extra small to 4XL. So it really goes up to like a size 20, 22. And I also kind of noticed that, especially here kind of down in the Bible Belt, people are still really conservative. So they're not ready to just jump into like the Rihanna Fenty crazy lingerie. They kind of like wanted to baby step into it. So that was another focus for the lingerie line of kind of having wherever you're at in your journey, it meets you there. So if you just want cute pajamas, it's there. If you want a harness, it's there.
I love it. You listen to your audience, right? You provide something for everybody. That is exciting. And hopefully we can talk more about that too as we we go a little further into this. But so I was excited and I thought, well, hopefully we're going to touch on that. So there we go, right out of the chute. Okay, so you've got some probably fantastic stories and all these different things from your 14 years in LA and all the above, but now being back here in Texas. Tell us a little bit about, as you shared about your background, you have such an exciting industry or career in beauty and glitz and glam, but with such significant purpose on so many different levels with regards to what you're doing with the courses or talking with your clientele. And you just mentioned it a second ago in the baby steps, because everybody is maybe at different levels. So, how did you realize that this was going to be your path?
I knew hair and makeup was going to be my path, and I didn't know it was really going to get this in depth. I have to be honest. Honestly, when I was in LA, I didn't have these kinds of relationships with my clients. I mean, a lot of my clients didn't even talk. They show me a picture. This is what they want to do. This is their inspiration. I do it, and it was just silent. And it was a switch when I moved to Texas because all of my clients and I developed these really close, tight knit relationships where they were really opening up and sharing all this vulnerable stuff with me. And I kind of just held that safe space to meet them where they were. And it was just kind of something I fell into. I didn't really mean for it to really go that in depth into this female empowerment, sexuality driven stuff, but there's really a need for it. And I don't think a lot of people talk about that.
Ding, ding, ding. You're right. Right. Because it's interesting. And when I was learning more about that, what you have and what you can offer to our audience and to, really anybody who's seeking that help is finding that so much of it is suppressed. And I don't know if of course, you experience that too. And again, going back to what you said earlier about where they are with their comfort with the lingerie, everybody loves the pretties, but sometimes it maybe is baby stepping, or sometimes there's been a shyness of embracing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think a lot of times too, you do it for your spouse. You do it for this
Mhm.
other reason where I kind of want it to be more normal where I mean for me, I don't even wear pajamas half the time. I'm wearing lingerie just because I think it makes me feel good and I'm pretty in it.
Right.
I'm like, it's not for, my husband, it's for me. So I kind of want to empower women to do it for them. And then yeah, if your man likes it, that's great, or your woman likes it. But yeah, just kind of owning it for yourself and just kind of making it more just like a part of your normal everyday wardrobe.
Yeah, that is fantastic. So, who do you think maybe has influenced you the most during your journey?
Definitely my husband.
Yeah.
He came from a very religious background. He shared a lot of just like the guilt and shame that came along with sexuality in those types of situations. And I didn't understand that until he kind of was really vulnerable and open with me and let me know that a lot of people are coming from this side of things. So he really helped me to understand and just kind of, I don't know, just kind of, well, yeah, just understand where they're coming from and where they're trying to go. So he
Yeah,
was a huge factor in that for me.
that's fantastic. That is awesome. Awesome. And sometimes we do need it completely from the other perspective, right? To find that balance or to open our eyes up. Because how would we have known?
Absolutely, and especially like, when I was in LA, and pretty much anything goes there. Nobody even looks right. I was in such a very small part of the world that
Yeah.
is very accepting and has a lot going on. But 95% of the population is not in that situation. So he really helped me kind of realize that.
Wow. And your outreach, it definitely opens up your ability to help and just make others feel so comfortable, right? In their inhibitions or, just expressing their own level of comfort and creativity.
Absolutely, exactly.
So cool. So cool. All right. So the alarm goes off. What's a day in the life look like for you?
I mean, every day is kind of different. It really depends if I'm, doing a salon day because I still do house calls and a rom tour or do something like that. So it kind of is all different. But a typical day would be like I get up around 6 or 7. I always start my like morning ritual, which I love doing yoga. That like centers me for the day. And I love doing like self-care baths. So my bath is like where I'll like respond to my emails, my text messages. I'm awful with time management, so I'll try to write out my schedule for the day and make sure that I stay on time. then I'll get out and like get ready, get dressed. And if I'm doing hair that day, I'll pack my hair and makeup kit, go to my clients. Now that I'm doing lingerie too, a lot of my clients I'll bring the lingerie to them so that they can try it on in their own home and it's a little bit less intimidating. So then I'll travel to them. Then once I get home for the day, my husband and I typically will turn on some music and make dinner together. So it's like our time to bond and kind of catch up with each other. Then I take another bath. Bath is my
Love it.
grounding, like, not just my like, come to Jesus part of the day.
Right.
And then I'll just like wind down and watch movies with him. I have four stepdaughters also, so if we have them, then all the times we're playing games or doing activities together too. So
How exciting. Very
yeah,
cool. Very cool. How do you find your clients, or do they more or less are they finding you at this point?
yeah, they're finding me at this point. It's a lot of just referrals of I know this person, I'm her friend, or I loved her hair from what you did on her, and so they'll find me that way. And then there's a couple that still trickle in from like Instagram and Facebook or just on my website, but most of them are referrals at this point.
Very nice. And that's the best, right?
Absolutely.
That's the best. That's the best acknowledgement of a job well done or quality service. So, in thinking back a little bit over your career, and maybe it's been something more recent with experiences, but has there ever been, or is there a specific career or accomplishment or achievement that you're most proud of? And tell us a little bit about what that means to you.
You know what? I have to say, one of my biggest accomplishments was I did Leanne Womack's hair for the Grammys a couple years ago. And I've done a ton of celebrities. I kind of like from the get go, from day one, was doing that, but it was always through the salon or it was always through, some sort of management that set me up with that. And for her, she reached out just like finding me on Instagram and just like a one on one kind of situation. Like she came for me instead of it being like the salon just set me up to do it. So that was kind of one of my biggest accomplishments because I did it myself. I set it all up for myself. So it was just that was a really fun, really fun event for me to kind of take pride in.
I bet. I bet you earned that. You earned that. And okay, so we talked a little, or we teased in the intro about celebrities. So tell us a few because you included some in your bio, but I thought, no, give her the stage. It's her show. So, so this is where you get to share a couple of those that you share because everybody likes to hear about that. And then they're
Yeah.
going to go back and they're going to look at social media and be like, wow, she did that. So tell us a couple more that you were excited to work with.
Yeah. So when I was in Los Angeles, I did a lot of pop stars. So I was really known for doing the Pussycat Dolls, Miley Cyrus, Ariana Grande. And then coming to Texas, now I'm kind of embracing the country side of it. So Leanne Womack, Alexa Bliss. So now I'm kind of doing some of the wrestlers and stuff too. So it's kind of all over the place now. But yeah, it's been fun doing actors, musicians, kind of anybody on screen.
So cool, so cool. And now we get to reach out to you.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So spoiled. So we're so spoiled. So yes, I will definitely be messaging you here probably sooner rather than later.
Oh, I
Um,
can't wait.
yes, yes. So let's twist a little bit too into maybe as you think back, career wisdom or advice that had been shared with you, and maybe there's something you hang on to as a treasure trove of advice or something that you found invaluable that someone shared with you, or maybe you heard or realized for yourself. Is there something that you would share with others?
I think you really just have to listen to your inner voice and just go with your gut feeling because you at the end of the day know what you want to do and what your soul's calling you to do. My parents were not a fan of me going to hair school. So I did entertain them and go to college and there's just this just I mean one of my friends, she's the one that pushed me into hair school, and she was like, all you do is talk about hair, all you do is talk about makeup and how this person needs to do this. And so I was like, okay, you're right, that is just where my love is, that's where my passion is. So despite what anybody else's opinion is or what they want you to do, you really just have to trust yourself.
That's fantastic. Courageous and brave, right? It's
Yes.
not always easy, not always easy to follow that, but you can hear it in your voice. You see it in, again, through your images and your work, that when one is able to really stick to it and follow that passion, it illuminates your soul.
Yes, it does. It does. And it's so much more than hair and makeup. So I love the laundry and everything. I love bringing out that inner spark in women, and the hair and makeup and laundry is just my way that I figured out to do it. But you really have to figure out just like what your life purpose is and just go with it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so being so strong and successful and of course beautiful and working in that environment, sometimes that can seem from the outside rather intimidating to those that might reach out and think, "Oh, that person or she or, they don't need any help or support." But we all know that's not true. So, where do you turn to when you need support or you need motivation or to get maybe past a hurdle or obstacle?
That's when I really started diving into the sexuality courses of just trying to like learn the female needs and wants and where my emptiness was or where my avoidance was. I love any kind of stuff like that. I follow a lot of those types of people on Instagram and stuff too. So that'll motivate me.
Because we're all in different places when we're looking for that support and inspiration and motivation from others, whether it's, a friend or like you said, what helps you is following all of those folks on, social media or yeah, it's hard sometimes to make. Do you have a strong support system or friends circle or family?
My sister actually, I guess, would be my go-to for that.
Yeah.
Is definitely she's a mom, so she's had like all the body changes, and even though I still do all this, glam stuff, she's the one that kind of brings me back down to earth, and she's like, dude, your contour looked amazing, but like you look great without it too. She's kind of just the humbling one of like, okay, all the stuff that I do is great, but don't forget that you're just kind of perfect the way you are too. And so
Mhm.
she's a good support system to keep grounded.
Love that. Love that. We need those balancers. I don't know what the right word would be in that. So very cool. Teresa, we're going to take a quick break to hear from this episode sponsor, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Is it time to sell your home? Build that dream home? Right size? Or are you ready to invest in real estate? Couture Real Estate Firm is a local female-owned independent brokerage laser-focused on services exclusively tailored to our clients' real estate goals. With our forward-thinking business model, we have a fully mobile, luxury real estate concept allowing convenience, flexibility, efficiency for our clients in style. Amber Weitzer, broker-owner of Couture Real Estate Firm, has over 20 years in the real estate industry and is a second-generation broker. She provides straightforward business practices, integrity, and intelligence with a commitment to a high-touch, consistent customer service experience. We take great pride in our reputation as a strong, referral-based brokerage. Discretion, tenacity, respect, and proactive business practices have earned Couture Real Estate Firm a loyal, repeat client business with a trusted global partner network. We strive for ultimate client satisfaction with successful results, doing it with class, consciousness, and a little avant-garde. In addition to serving our clients and vendor partners, we are extremely honored to be actively engaged in supporting the communities we serve by promoting small businesses, schools, and nonprofits. Real estate is direct sales business at its core, and we are highly trained sales professionals with the Mike Ferry organization, adding dimension to the industry. Passionate about customer service, dedicated to client satisfaction, and driven to achieve successful results for our clients. Call Couture Real Estate Firm today at 817-233-7239 to discuss your real estate goals.
Okay, thank you. We are back. So let's talk a little bit about, you've mentioned the great work that you're doing in becoming certified in your courses. So we could talk about that a little bit too. And this question might, I don't know, you tell me, might tie in because we always get curious about was there a specific point in time in your career or professional life that allowed you to take a shift and reevaluate? And was it just what you mentioned, diving deeper into the courses maybe to unlock something? Or can you think of something that triggered maybe that exploration of the educational side of things?
Yeah, absolutely. Coming back to Texas was really hard for me because of the salon situation is just totally different. And so I was kind of just having to rethink my entire career. I ended up opening up my own just like private suite, which is something that I never thought I wanted to do. And it just came at this crazy time in my life because I had just had like a hysterectomy, I had cervical cancer, I had a episiotomy. I was having all these female hormone issues and struggles and this huge life change. And so I was just kind of looking for anything to kind of get me back to where I was because I lost my own kind of inner spark. I didn't have my friends going to work. I didn't have I didn't know who I was when I looked in the mirror anymore. And so that was kind of my biggest moment in starting these courses. And then kind of my clients were being really vulnerable with me now that we kind of had our privacy of being one on one. And I just kind of began to open up with them back and kind of express where I was. And it just kind of turned into this mutual healing.
Wow. Okay, you went way deep. But it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me to find out some of those things because of what I hear in your voice, and it's such a great energy of goodness. But again, you see the package and it's all glammed up, and then you talk about your sister kind of having that balance and how beautiful you are without the contouring and all these different things. And on the outside, someone might have a perception, but what you do really see in hearing and talking with you are all of the layers that really maybe helped you formulate the vision, right? And the perception. I mean, it's just so beautiful what you're doing for so many women. And you found it out of necessity for needing to really find some of who you were.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. So, thinking of what you're doing in your journey now, what are maybe some positive adjustments that you've made in your life or environment that are helping to support your growth or goals and dreams? Because a lot of times when we talk with each other and we're able to share those, it might help inspire or, like you said, spark something in one of our audience members.
Yoga is huge for me. That helps center me. I do a lot of my thinking during that time. So that's definitely one of my routines that I have to do. I mean, I don't go out and party. I don't go do all this like selfish stuff anymore. It's just kind of empty. And back in LA, I did do that a lot. So just kind of changing the focus and putting your energy towards things that are going to actually be productive and like help progress society and help progress women. So it's just kind of making those day-to-day decisions of like, is this moving towards where I want to go or is this going to go against me?
That's fantastic. I've never heard anybody say the partying and all those things, which we've all had, we all
Right.
dabbled in that, right? But I just, it was pretty profound how you just shared that just so casually, but how you said it's empty, or selfish. Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I wrote that down. Oh, that's good. Good stuff, girl.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So, and thinking through too, all of these things that you're sharing with us in your courses, would you want to share a little bit about what you're doing with that? And maybe hand in hand with that, we all value great resources that help inspire, uplift, or encourage. So, when you're talking about what you're doing in the course side of things, are there favorite authors or resources or anybody you mentioned following earlier that you'd want to share with us?
My favorite authors, I don't read a ton of books. I'm going to be honest with you that are I read like makeup books by like the Kevin Aquan series before he passed away. It was like amazing. That was like my obsession. He talks about like how to do different makeup styles for different races. He was kind of the first one to ever touch on that. So that's one of my favorite people to read. And then I'm super big just into spirituality and astrology and just our life purpose and what we're all here for. So if I'm reading anything, it's like, oh my gosh, Brene Brown or Ainsley McLeod, just kind of like serving our higher mission kind of stuff is my passion if I'm reading.
I love that. I love that. Well, and it's in your voice. I mean, it's just your spirit, right?
It is.
It is.
It is. I really love it. I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. So you've told us about how you like to relax and unwind, and your fun baths and all these other things that really in your yoga. Okay, yoga. So what type of yoga? Because is it hot yoga? Which one? Are you regular yoga?
So I've done all of them.
Okay.
I've done all the classes. There's actually like a yoga app that I use now because it's just I'm such a like homebody. So for a lot of it, like I didn't want to work out because I didn't want to go to the gym and have like all of that energy. You know, maybe I just wanted to like unwind, and that was just too much, and I just emotionally couldn't do it. So I ended up finding this app, and I think it's called like dog yoga or something like that. It's like blue and it has a little dog. That's all I remember. But so I just have it on my phone, and you customize the yoga practice to meet whatever needs you want. So you can pick the time frame, what kind of music, which style of yoga. There are some days when it's just like, I know I need this, but I'm emotionally don't have anything to give. And there's like a restorative option where you don't even have to stand. So I'm like, okay, I'm still doing something. But like wherever I'm at, it meets me there. So that, and I just set up in my, in my bedroom or living room, or sometimes the kids do it with me too. So it just kind of depends. But yeah, I love it because I can customize it each time.
That is fantastic. Thank you. So we'll look that up and make sure to include it in the resource section, because the vibe I'm getting is fantastic. But what I'm also taking away selfishly right now, before I go back and listen and take other notes and, highlights and all these other great bullet points from what you're saying, but I hear a lot of what you've discovered too in your Silhouette of Success journey just so far is you are really honing in on what you need for yourself, so you have that energy and to meet you in the place you are, to put you in your best place to then give back.
Yes, absolutely. And you have to keep those promises to yourself. There are, of course, those days we don't want to, take that self-care. But if that's one of my biggest things, I believe, if I can't give to anybody if I haven't given to myself. So I have to make sure. And even if that's the bare minimum that day, I'm going to do the bare minimum.
Right. Fill it up. Right.
Something in.
Yeah. Yes. Positive. We've learned that too. Oh my goodness. Oh, this has been so fun. Teresa, it has been such a pleasure visiting with you today. And I'm skipping around a little bit, but I know we touched on this earlier. In keeping the promise to the audience to share intentional inspiration, what one piece of key go-to advice would you like to share with our audience?
My favorite quote ever is loving yourself is the greatest revolution. And that phrase is just so powerful. It just says it all. And it is just my favorite reminder.
I'm writing it.
I'm like, I'm gonna post it everywhere. I love that quote so much.
I can't help it. I have to write it always, let it sink in deep. That is fantastic. And I would say, my friend, you are living it, just that is fantastic. So this is now even more your stage and your forum to share with our audience. Where can our audience go to find and connect with you on your socials or support you in your continued success?
My socials are Lone Star Stylist. It's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, all the things, lonestarstylist.com. So you can get in touch with me or follow, my journey on there. And then if you are interested in any of the life coaching, it's teresadupre.com.
Fantastic. And you have to remind me, is your lingerie line accessible on?
The lingerie is accessible. It's Lone Star Lingerie, lonestar-lingerie.com, but it's also accessible through the Lone Star Stylist connection also.
Excellent. Perfect. And your empowerment coaching too. So we all have to go check all of those out. So perfect. Well, Teresa, thank you once again for sharing your silhouette of success with us. You are a complete inspiration and just so uplifting just to hear you. So I am excited. I can't wait to come visit you for an official course or two and maybe some glitz and glam.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much for having me. This has been my pleasure.
Thank you, my lady. Have a great one.
Thank you too.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Silhouettes of Success podcast. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out and join us for all the new episodes. We are here for you and with you. We encourage you to share this podcast on all your socials and pass on the light to help illuminate another silhouette of success. Amber would love to hear from you, and you can find her on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, or head over to amberweitzer.com. Let's connect. Help us all shine and leave us a review too. To find out the latest ways to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, and gain actionable insights, subscribe at amberweitzer.com. We are honored, humbled, and full of joy that you've tuned in. Remember, you are exactly where you need to be, right here with us. This is the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success.